Hi, I'm Brittany, and I'm currently on a prayer walk outside. And in my prayer walk, I use scripture to pray. And so I decided to just share from the book of Proverbs with the prayer walk. And so welcome to the Proverbs study. We are the wind's trying to get me. We are in Proverbs 1, and we are on verse 16. We're going to do verse 16, 17, and 18. And we're going to do this every day for the entire year. And so I'm catching up because I just started on the 10th. So you'll see like 2 videos a day. But until I catch up. So 16, 17, and 18, I'm going to read from the King James and the Passion Translation. So verse 16, Proverbs 1:16 says, "For their feet run to evil and make haste to shed blood. Surely in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird. And they lay wait for their own blood. They lurk privily for their own lives." And the Passion Translation says, "For crime is their way of life, and bloodshed their specialty. To be aware of their snare is the best way of escape. They'll resort to murder to steal their victims' assets, but eventually it will be their own lives that are ambushed." So this wisdom that this first book of Proverbs, this first chapter in the book of Proverbs is sharing, is really making us aware, right? And that's what all of the chapters will do. But this is setting the groundwork for the things that are in the beginning of wisdom, right? So the beginning of wisdom was the fear of the Lord. And so once you're acknowledging God, now it's time to be aware of the devil and his tactics, right? So in the last few verses, we realized that the attributes of these people who do things are the attributes of Satan, because those actions that they are performing or saying that they're inviting you in to perform are actually bringing you down to the grave, or bringing you down to destruction or death, right? So when it talks about in 16, 17, and 18, it's talking about these same people. For their feet run to evil and make haste, right? They're rushing to shed innocent blood, to shed blood. And surely in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird. Or the Passion says, to be aware of their snare is the best way of escape, right? So if a bird can see you setting a trap, they're not going to fall for it. And so that's what the book of Proverbs is for, right? It's for you it's talking about this so that you can identify the traps that are already set for you specifically, right? So one of the traps that are set for you are invitations to do things that are going to take advantage of people. Like I said in the last video, whether they're government, an individual person, a whole group of people, a whole race of people, or, it doesn't matter, right? The fact is the action that you're taking. It's not about the people, right? Just because it's a certain group of people doesn't make it better. It's the action that's the trap. You doing the evil thing, or you're doing the thing that's not wise, is the trap. It doesn't matter the justification for it. It doesn't matter the people or what they've done to you, or what you perceive that they've done to you. It doesn't matter. The trap that the enemy lays is the action. So in the last verses, 15, and I believe in verse 9, it said, "Say no. Stop your feet from going in that direction with them. Crime is their way of life," it says in the Passion. "They'll resort to murder to steal their victims' assets. So not only have they invited you to steal, but they didn't tell you that they're willing to murder for it. So now, if you went with them, now you're an accessory to murder, and you wasn't even planning on murdering. But now you're involved, you're pulled in, and the trap gets deeper and deeper. That's why it's called a pit. Verse 15, it talked about a pit. Verse 12 talks about a pit. As those that go down into the pit. The pit, when you try to get out of a pit, you're grabbing on this stuff, and it's dark. You don't know what you're grabbing onto, so you're slipping further and further down. That's exactly what taking an invitation from a person to do something evil does. It puts you into a pit, right? That is the trap. Eventually it will be their own lives that are ambushed. So that's the truth of the matter, is that eventually, so they lay wait for their own blood. They lurk privily for their own lives. This is the power of the wisdom of Proverbs. They are actually doing all these things to themselves. Everything that they're inviting you into, they're actually doing it to themselves. Because what is your reward for doing these evil things? That which a man soweth, he also reapeth. Okay, that's King James language, but you reap what you sow. You reap what you sow. So you can think that you're doing these things against innocent people, or people who you feel like are not innocent. But it's wrong, right? What you're doing is wrong. But because of whatever justification in your mind, you've decided to do it. You're actually doing it to yourself. It's what the book of Proverbs says. You're actually doing it to yourself. So that is your reward. What you're doing to yourself is your reward for what you decided to do against somebody else. So keep that in mind. Let us use the book of Proverbs for what it is. It's a wisdom. It's something that God placed in the heart of Solomon, the son of David, to make us wise. And if you know Bible history, you know that he was the wisest man that ever lived, right? In his time especially. But I would argue that even to today, because his words, man, the depth of it is just, it's so good. It's so filling. So I hope this filled you up. It definitely filled me up. I feel like I ate a meal just talking about this and reading it. And thank you for sharing in with me. And thank you for the encouragement so far. I just started, but I've already received encouragement to keep going. So I appreciate that. And I hope this blessed you. Have a wonderful day.